just sounds crazy to even think about. So, but let's get over into it and see what we can find out about this whole situation. And then, of course, we'll go into the AI breakdown after this. Oh.
A director from Westwood has been arrested after federal authorities say he stole millions slated to help the homeless.
They say he lined his pockets instead. KTLA 5's Corrine Winter live in the newsroom with the details. Corrine?
Well, Sam and Glenn, the Homelessness Fraud and Corruption Task Force announcing this huge arrest today. Officials say that the executive director at the center of this case misused taxpayer funds intended to help some of LA's most needy individuals. He's accused of living the high life to the tune of $23 million instead of using public and taxpayer funds to help the homeless. That's according to federal and local officials who this morning arrested 42-year-old Alexander Sufer of Westwood at his multi-million-dollar home.
He lied to investigators when confronted. He provided fake invoices to make it appear that the payments to third vendors were legitimate. They were not.
Sufer is the executive director of the charity Abundant Blessings and was given tens of millions of dollars in funds between 2018 and 2025 to feed and house roughly 600 individuals across the greater LA area. That meant providing 3 nutritious meals a day. Instead, the assistant U.S. attorney Bill Asaley alleges Sufer gave them this microwavable ramen.
This is what he was providing ramen noodles and a microwave. And he was pocketing the rest of the money. The money was not intended for ramen noodles to be microwaved and fed to the homeless. He was supposed to provide nutritious meals. He pocketed the rest of the money. He probably spent $100 you see in that picture, and he pocketed the rest of the money.
Investigators provided photos of some of the high-priced items Sufer got for himself and family, including the purchase of a $7 million Westwood home, a $125,000 Range Rover, luxury vacation trips to places like Hawaii and Florida. Other expenses included private school tuition for his kids and a nearly $500,000 vacation home in Greece. Sufer allegedly lied to the Los Angeles Homeless Service Authority on how he was directing the money.
This is a case full of lies, deceit, and pilfering money intended on addressing one of the most prolific problems in Los Angeles County.
There is not just a federal investigation, but one at the local level that District Attorney Nathan Hochman outlined. The DA's office conducted an independent parallel investigation with the U.S. Attorney's Office, with both having overlapping jurisdiction in this case. At the federal level, Sufer is facing wire fraud charges. At the local level, his charges include forgery, where he faces up to 17 years in prison.
Rather than admit that he did something wrong and hand the money back, he doubled down on his crimes, first stating that he actually provided this money. Then he tripled down on his crimes, submitting fake invoices. And when he's confronted by the auditors about the fake invoices, he quadruples down and submits different fake invoices.
Officials say they've investigated 2 other alleged fraud cases regarding funds meant for the homeless that were misused, with these defendants also facing steep charges. Now we have reached out to the Los Angeles.
Back that up a tad bit. Look, so we got Cody Holmes, $25.9 million. Stephen Taylor, over $16 million. And then we got Alex Scoffer. I might be saying that last name wrong, but it doesn't matter. Over $23 million. All this money was supposed to go help the homeless. But instead, it was lining people's pockets. They were feeding them ramen noodles instead of a hearty, nutritious meal. Ramen noodles, what college students eat, just because they broke. Let's keep going and finish up this video.
Now we have reached out to the Los Angeles Homeless Service Authority for comment. They have not yet responded. Sufer is expected to make an initial court appearance in Santa Ana sometime this afternoon. That's the very latest in the news.
A crazy situation. And these are the people who you have to look out for. You cannot, they take the money from the homeless. They're supposed to be leading a charity, but they take the money from the homeless. So let's go into the AI breakdown. So 42-year-old Alexander Scoffer, the executive director of South Los Angeles charity Abundant Blessings, is charged with orchestrating a $23 million scam involving taxpayer funds meant to house and feed the homeless. Between 2018 and 2025, The nonprofit received over $23 million in public funding from the Los Angeles Homeless Service authorities and other sources. So at least $10 million was siphoned into his personal accounts to fund his lavish lifestyle. While the contracts required 3 healthy daily meals for over 600 participants, the residents were reportedly fed only ramen noodles, canned beans, and breakfast bars. Yeah, the cheapest you can get. To hide the fraud, he created a fake board of directors and submitted bogus invoices for non-existent expenses. Authorities claim that the stolen tax dollars were used for his high-end personal expenses: a $7 million mansion, $125,000 Range Rover, $475,000 vacation property in Greece, private jet travel, stays at luxurious resorts, and private school tuition for his children. He was arrested at his Westwood home by federal task force, including the FBI and IRS. He faces wire fraud charges and a maximum of 20 years in federal prison if convicted. Officials stated that this part of ongoing crackdown of homelessness fraud. These are some of the worst individuals you can think of. They're supposed to be there for the homeless, feeding them. This is what our taxpayers are for. Tax money is for. People using this to help the homeless. But no, they use it to line their pockets. It's a crazy situation, y'all. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you feel about it. Should he get the full 20 years? Should he get the full $23 million fraud? Let me know your thoughts on this whole situation, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Absolute crazy situation, y'all. But this is the fraud and abuse that needs to be investigated and stomped out. At least that's my thinking.